Well, hello there everyone, and welcome to another commentary. You know, it seems like there is an ever-growing level of disagreement between both theists and atheists alike. One classic contention between these two groups is the ongoing debate between the theories of creationism and evolution, with evolution proposing that life evolved through a process of natural selection, and creationism proposing that all life has been created by an omniscient and omnipotent being, more specifically the Abrahamic God that Jews, Christians and Muslims all worship. Well, fear not, apparently scrolling through the YouTube homepage has led me to discover a video that can serve as a middle ground, a compromise between these two ideas. The video we will be taking a look at is from a man named Qur'anic Corners, who made a video called Humans Didn't Evolve from Apes, rather, God Turned Humans into Apes. Ah yeah, sounds legit, sounds like something that scientists can confirm. Let's watch.
Atheists say,
"We know from science that humans evolved from ape-like ancestors."
Can't be a certified atheist without that really fancy Angloid accent.
so say. Rather, God created man from dust. But for those with whom God became angry, he cursed them and made them apes.
Well, pack your bags atheists. Your entire theory on evolution that has been backed up with legitimacy by many well-versed scientists is being dismantled one by one, as we speak. You see, Homo sapiens didn't evolve from ape-like ancestors through a process of natural selection. Oh no, you see God turned the people that messed him off into literal monkeys.
For God said to those who transgressed, "Be apes." Whereby when God intends a thing, he only says to it, "Be," and it is.
Alright God, let's put your miracles to the test. I want you to get rid of Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's, be cured. Well,
So remember when God said, "Let there be light," and thus, there was light. And he only spoke the word, "Let the earth be made," and it was made. And he said, "Let the heaven be made," and it was created.
and then God said, let world hunger be gone. Let famine be gone. Let a better quality of life be made. You know, God could use his magic, miracles to do a whole assortment of things, but no, instead he used it to turn people into pigs and apes, if they piss him off somehow, only for the latter to be used to challenge the idea that he even exists, along with the idea that he, in fact, created the world and all the creatures that inhabit it. Pretty counterintuitive, I might say. You think for a person who has a divine plan out for ready and knows all the mechanics behind it, you'd think he would know better if he wanted everyone to worship him.
For God spoke, and it was. He commanded, and it stood. For his command when he intends a thing, is that he only says to it, "Be," and it is. And indeed, the example of Jesus to God is like that of Adam. He created him from dust. Then he said to him, "Be," and he was.
So not only is God seemingly so incompetent that his omnipotent and omniscient ass couldn't have guessed that him turning the people into apes that are phenotypically homologous to humans would eventually lead people into becoming atheists, but he also intends it. What the hell, tetragrammaton of Yahweh? What kind of masochistic shit is this?
And you had already known about those who transgressed among you concerning the Sabbath, and we said to them, "Be despised apes." Whereby our word to a thing when we intend it, is only that we say to it, "Be," and it is.
I should also note that there is one important thing that this video completely misunderstands when it comes to archaeological studies. This video totally disregards the idea that scientists can determine the age of fossil remains. Geochronologists commonly use radiometric dating methods based on natural radioactive decay and half-life of carbon that determines the approximate age of the fossils being researched. What they found is that the remains of primates such as Homo erectus or Australopithecus are dated to being 1 to 3 million years old. In fact, the oldest known skeletal remains of a primate is said to be 62 million years old. And according to many Orthodox creationists who cite the Bible, or in this case the Qur'an, the earth is how old? 6,000 years old. That's 62 million years before God made man in his own image, and along with God turning humans into monkeys. If your theory holds true, that God turning the people that transgress against him into monkeys is where monkeys come from, then there shouldn't be fossil remains of primates that are dated way before God supposedly turned humans into primates for disobeying him.
And we made it a deterrent punishment for those who were present and those who succeeded them, and a lesson for those who fear God. For when they were insolent about that which they had been forbidden, we said to them, "Be despised apes."
Yeah, be despised apes. The next time you go to your local zoo, make sure you give a big ol' middle finger to the orangutans. Hey, don't take it from me, God wills it. Alright, let's examine this idea that God can just create and make anything happen by just using his words, saying it to it, me, and it is. The fossils that you see, that are the predecessors of modern-day humans, as I said earlier, are millions of years old. You're meaning to tell me that Allah is so stupid, so goddamn incompetent, when it comes to convincing people that he's real, that not only does he punish people by turning them into creatures that are homologous to humans, but he deliberately makes their dead remains look like they've been there for millions of years, older than when he first created the Garden of Eden. What fucking good would that do? That's some serious low IQ shit for an omnipotent and omniscient being. This is disastrously incompetent. Now, a lot of people might say, well, God is using this to test our faith. Why? It's clearly not working, purposefully planting fossils and making them look older than they are and having scientists confirm that they are indeed millions of years old and are in fact ancestors of humans is damning millions of people to hell. This is clearly not the work of an all-knowing God, because, if his goal is to have all his children believe in him, you wouldn't have skeletal remains that are estimated to being millions of years old. Hell, you wouldn't have dinosaur skeletal remains either. You wouldn't have remains that date all the way back to the Cambrian explosion. Apparently, God knowingly and carefully crafted this false narrative, even constructing an entire lore based on it, having an entire family tree of different extinct species and crafting them in order for it to look like that they are homologous, and therefore predecessors of all the different species that we see today, and he's doing all of this in order to test our faith.
And thus, those are the ones whom God has cursed and with whom he became angry, and made them apes and pigs. But no verse comes to them from the verses of their Lord except that they turn away therefrom. For they had denied the truth when it came to them, but the news of what they used to ridicule is going to reach them.
Be careful guys, if you don't accept the truth that God turned the infidels into apes and pigs, and that he purposely made the remains of those apes look like they are millions of years old, you're gonna get what's coming for you. I mean, why stop there? God probably turned those same disbelievers into dinosaurs as well, if we are just going to throw all consistency with commonly understood anthropology out the window. Anyway, the video is over. Here's my theory. This video is basically just made for the sole purpose of converting the atheists into Islam. I mean, if that's the case, in the surface it's honestly a really smart move to capitalize on that demographic, while Christian fundamentalists are busy trying to convince people that the entire theory of evolution is false and has absolutely no truth to it. The people who work for Qur'anic corners are already coming up with some ideas. What they got was a fucking Frankenstein monster of different ideas. God turned humans into monkeys, and that's where monkeys come from, and why primates are so similar to humans. If you're already a Muslim who believes in the Quran wholeheartedly, the arguments presented in the video seem so convincing, so much so that it would eventually evangelize the atheists. I mean, why wouldn't it? Atheists say that humans come from ape-like ancestors, but here, it says God turned the people that pissed him off into monkeys. Boom, how about that? Now you know. Here's the problem. This video's primary source is a series of verses from the Quran, a book written by men thousands of years ago. If an atheist or an agnostic were to watch this video, none of this would be convincing to anyone who isn't already a theist, because the video is making claims that contradict our current scientific understanding of archaeological and scientific studies revolving biology and evolution, and even makes claims that have seriously ridiculous implications that only raises more plot holes to the creation story. If I can say anything about this video's effectiveness in its propaganda, it's just going to reinforce messages to those who already believe in it anyway. This video only seems to reinforce a message that creationist Muslims already believe, taken to reduce the likelihood of those who already believe in the creation myth to doubt it later on down the line, rather than to evangelize atheists who don't believe in the creation myth anyway. However, if this video isn't made to appeal to atheists, but rather it's made as a posture against them, saying that they will eventually turn into apes and swines if they piss him off, then there isn't really any substance, and frankly neither of the two options are going to convince any agnostic or atheist to follow religion, and it's still just going to appealing to people who already agree with you rather than convince people who don't. Hey atheists, so you believe that humans came from monkeys, huh? Yeah, well, what if I told you that he turned the people that pissed him off into monkeys, and the same will happen to you if you don't behave? No, I'm shivering right now. I am going to have terrible nightmares from this, if my monotone text-to-speech voice wasn't enough of an indicator, which I'm sure it is. Anyway, this was overall very, well, interesting ed. Just wanted to drop by and state my piece about it. Anyway, this is Ottomagic Critic, and if you are a man, make sure you send this to a female to balance the gender demographics of this channel. See you next time.